Hello, good people. Welcome to our show. By the way, I don't want to discriminate bad people. Welcome to our show. Anyone who want to learn more about AI writing, welcome because it's very important to know how to write great text. For me, texting is foundation of any content. If you have no value in your content, if you can't provide something new and valuable, you can't get results. And all website content depends on great writing. If you can skip some elements of content, it's better to skip design than skip writing. Yeah, and that's why it's very important today, especially when we have AI. I'm so excited to discuss this topic with my friend Ezekiel. Oh man, can you pronounce your name, please?
Ezekiel Olatunji.
Oh, sorry for that. I usually try my best to pronounce names, but I know many people have a big struggle to pronounce my name, Anatoly
Yeah,
Ulitovsky.
yeah.
But anyway, I love learning. I love having cooperations with many great experts, including you. So, before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and anything that can help our listeners to learn more about you.
Okay, so as said, my name is Ezekiel Olatunji, and I have over 7 years experience, in content and copywriting. I've worked specifically around business to business and SaaS content, and I'm right now at the moment I'm the content manager of Writing Simon, where we deal with a lot of content marketing techniques for B2B and SaaS firms. So the major thing we do, we produce, thought leadership articles, get links for them, and do everything a content marketing agency, does. We also use different software. I manage a team of about 5 people, among many other leaders among the firm, but people directly reporting under me, about 5 of them. So where we have some creatives, some content writers, some freelancers, and all sort of things. So I'm happy to be with you here, Anatoly. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, love it, love it. Okay, I wanna start from the basic question. Let me share a short story. I think
Okay,
you know that storytelling is very important. If you wanna,
definitely.
yeah, create great content, and I love uh, reading stories. I think it's human psychology to get them, and I wanna share my story. Because 12 years ago, when I started my digital journey, I hired a team of copywriters who wrote about anything. I gave them topics:
Okay.
weight loss, finance, everything. They wrote, Google ranked.
Wow.
But things changed many times.
Mm,
The main reason because competition. It's not because Google changed algorithms. Of course, yeah, it because of that as well. But uh, competition was low many years ago. Today, it's extremely hard to get
yeah.
attention at any direction, any niche. That's why Google fired my team. Sorry, I fired my team. Okay, okay. But Google helped me. Google pushed me, to fire this team. And today I cooperate with experts who know specific topics. I um, outsource people who can write for Forbes, Investopedia, many other great websites,
Oh,
because I know they can provide something new and they pay attention to one specific topic. Can you tell
yeah.
how to find people, specialists, writer who can write great content? Because it's a big struggle for my clients, for my audience, to find great writers. It's not like to go to Fiverr, Upwork, and choose someone who have great rating. Yeah, it's better to find someone who can bring this value. Any tips about that?
Yeah, I think that's a general problem, especially now. In fact, at Writing Simon, I remember a particular time when we had to onboard a set of people. I think about 3 of them wanted to employ 3 people, you know, and it was a struggle. I mean, it took us weeks into months. And some people give you a good start, their first article, they put in all the work, and in the process, the whole thing is a mess, and you just have
Yeah.
to let them go. And I tell you, it's a struggle these days to really find someone that is passionate and can deliver value when it comes to writing. So one thing I always give is I actually always go on the route of a paid test. and I pick people based on niche. I don't just go for general writers sometimes, especially when the deadline is very close. Most times, I just give you a test. Of course, I'm going to pay, maybe not the real value, but I say, okay, write this for me. And all I just want to see is originality. All I want to see is value. So the formatting, I can teach you, in a matter of weeks. I can teach you how to go about it. But I just want to see quality. I want to see someone write something 100% unique and original. In some other cases where, I have to, maybe I have a very long deadline in some other cases, and I have time to maybe train people when I know there's a lot of time, I can actually go for someone, maybe just look around on LinkedIn sometimes and check, oh, this person is consistently posting this kind of thing across this kind of topic. Okay, let me just engage this person. And for some of those kind of people, you find out that if with the right, criteria, you pick them, you can actually train them to become as good as you in a little time. So for some of them, that's just what I need. I need someone that is ready to learn. I mean, learn and learn good. So once I have such a person, I believe there's no limit to what that person can become. So I just have to dedicate my time to train. But when I have a very short deadline, like I mentioned, I go for specialists. When I mean specialists, people I know are specialists in a particular niche. And those are the kind of people I engage directly. Of course, that also can go, the other way, because sometimes you get somebody good and another person takes the person from you and all that. Because people that are actually good in this field, I tell you, they are very volatile when it comes to staying in the pipeline of any industry. People pick them here and there. Recently, Ryan Law from Animals, posted that it was put off. I don't know if you saw the post on LinkedIn, and I'm sure Ryan is a hot cake. I know many people are going to be for going for him with everything they have right now. So I believe once you're good, once you can give value, definitely people are going to come for you. But such kind of people also might not necessarily be able to stay so long in the firm. So sometimes I prefer to go for those I train. Over time they get to stay with me for long than those guys that just have to do specialist job. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, interesting. In my experience, I usually cooperate with people if I don't need to teach them. I wanna if they can teach me, how to write great text. And I got this quote from Apple. When I opened apple.com, I saw their hiring methods, and they usually hire, even including interns, someone who can teach the most wealthy company in the world how to
Wow.
be better. So they don't hire people if they need to teach them. They want to hire someone who can teach Apple. So, and I found,
Yeah,
yeah, it saves time. For me, it's better to pay more for people,
definitely,
writers,
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah,
who know how to write, than
yeah,
to
yeah.
spend time, waste a lot of time, to get something. And I wanna ask you about AI. It's interesting that I cooperate with authors who can write for Forbes, Investopedia, Bloomberg, great websites, well-known websites. And what I usually see, all of them, without any exception, use AI. All of them. In most cases, ChatGPT. And
Okay.
for me, it's important to control and manage, because if okay, I know they have experience, great experience, they prove their experience, because I usually cooperate with people. If I check out their ranking positions, I mean, like, or SEO traffic on their articles, if I see they have traffic, so they know how to write. Then, but I see when you don't manage and control the process, people just write generic information, nothing special. You need to control and spend time with that. So, can you tell your methods how to control and manage people in order to get great results?
Yeah, so when it comes to that, that's also a problem, and I really appreciate the fact that you noted that. And I must say that it's like a wave now where everyone is just going to ChatGPT, ChatGPT. Of course, ChatGPT comes with a revolution to the writing industry. I mean, to content marketing as a whole. But I must say that when it comes to the kind of client you're working for. You mentioned top guys. You mentioned Investopedia, Bloomberg, and all those guys. These guys have built their bottom line. They've supplied enough quality content in the industry for so long. So right now, probably what some of them just need is more like they are maintaining their traffic and those kind of things. For those kind of guys, you can go a large percentage of AI, ChatGPT, which I'm still going to come to, explain better. But for those other guys where they've not done a lot on creating or establishing their topical authority on the website, I mean, on Google, for example, those kind of guys actually should do less with ChatGPT. I mean, because they have to create original content that fits their target audience. Quality stuff. I mean, quality stuff that the guy gets hooked from the first line to the end. That's how much they have to put in the work. And they have to supply, good information. And like you said, when it comes to even those that, can use ChatGPT now, when you see there's a lot of generic information, by implementing, there's a common line, ChatGPT ends conclusion the same way. There's the same way it does introduction for everything. And, but there are other ways I've noticed, the ways you can prompt this ChatGPT to get very good results. For me, I've actually produced article with ChatGPT, and I mean they're ranking very well on Google, very very well. And you asked me how? How was I able to do that? Actually, there's no content writing you want to do without research. ChatGPT is not a research tool. ChatGPT is more like a rewriting or paraphrasing, tool. It's not actually getting the right information for you. So the first thing you have to do in putting control is to ensure that whether you or your team of writers, you do the research for the main content of what you're looking for. You write it and jot it, maybe write it in few sentences, get the statistics correct, you get all the information concerning that thing correct. Then you can then load it in. And when you're even loading into ChatGPT, you have to prompt ChatGPT to an extent. Let me give you an example. You say, okay, you want to write an article or maybe a software, because I work with a lot of software and technology, websites and companies like that. So you want to prompt that kind of thing. You should use something like probably the copyright, for SEO purpose. You could use a past copywriting style where it states the question, it points the pinpoints, then it gives a solution, then it tells you what the article is writing. But to prompt ChatGPT to do this for you, don't do it by default. So you're going to say, okay, I need you to do this in past copywriting style. Do you understand, ChatGPT? It says, yes, I understand. I'll do this. Then you continue the next thing. I have this set of statistics that are verified from Google. I want you to add it in the introduction. Do you understand? ChatGPT tells you, I understand. Please supply the information. You go next, you say, I want you to limit it to 3 paragraphs, not more than 150 words. Do you understand? ChatGPT tells you, I understand. Then you just give ChatGPT the prompt, write so on this software about this. You see the content is going to produce actually going to be better than what you can write. I mean, when it puts together those stuffs for you. But don't forget what I said is you actually give it the content. It's more like you are directing the mind of ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is just carrying you about. That's basically what you use it for. So when you can prompt appropriately, in fact, sometimes I go to the point of in cases where bullets and numberings are necessary, apply them. Do you understand? I understand. And you see that it's not going to give you bullets all through for all the content. But when it gets to a point where it sees that, oh, I think we need to itemize, you just see it's giving you numbers. The next session might not include any numbers. And you keep prompting it like that, you find out that you're going to get brilliant results. I mean, brilliant results. And it gets to your conclusion also. What I do most times, I write my introduction and conclusion myself. I make sure, because I know what my guys want. I make sure it's so engaging. I spend almost all my time there. So as at the point when we get into the sub-heads, the H2s and all, like ChatGPT, with my information, controlling the mind of ChatGPT. And there's a lot you can produce with ChatGPT. I tell you, there's a lot. And I see it as basically the cheapest form of AI writing tool you can use to get a lot of things.
Yeah, I love it how you can speak with ChatGPT. Do you understand? If you don't, it's better. Don't make me angry. It's not like how we can speak with a human being, because it's important to encourage people. We have emotions, but it's tool, it's a rewriting tool. And when content creators complain that they get generic information because it's rewriting tool. Rewriting, the best rewriting tool ever, but not
Yeah.
writing. And if you feed with the right data, so
Yes.
basically you
Yes.
need to collect this data, collect data, feed with the right data, use the right prompts, and you can get great results.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible writer, but I usually write bad copy with valuable insights and ask ChatGPT, look at, I got this information, data, my terrible text. Please convert this text for, then I can specify about my audience, to tell more about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and I can get great results. Of course, we need to edit, we need to spend time to check out, but this tool is great if you use it in smart way. Fit with the right
Yes.
data and use the right prompts. Yeah, love it.
Yes. Definitely.
I wanna ask you about creating this strategy. It's what I usually see when, for example, in my company, we often get new clients who can't get results for a long time. And I usually analyze why they can't get results, and we see they use generic
Hmm.
content plan. And according to
Okay.
some data, only, if I remember correctly, like 36% of all companies have a documented content strategy. Even
Mm.
though when these companies have this documented content strategy, it doesn't mean that this strategy well crafted.
Mm.
Because, for example, once I got a client who asked me, please help me to promote the keyword weight loss in the top 10 on Google. I replied,
Mm.
okay, I can show me your website. No, I'm going to create this website, but I want to be in the top 10 Google with the keyword weight loss. What? In the top 10 billion-dollar companies, they deserve this ranking positions. They have this authority, trust, high quality content. Yeah, it's better to start with small, go to step by step. So can you tell your
Mm.
methods, how to create the right strategy, and even more to choose priorities? Because yeah, it's a big issue when I see when companies create a list of topics, like 100 topics, but have limited resources, can't cover them, because today it's better less but quality than quantity, and it's hard to create a lot of quality content. So any tips about finding the right topics and choosing
Okay.
priorities?
Okay. There's actually a lot to talk about in this part.
Yeah,
So I'm just going to give tips, like you said, because if we want to go into the details, actually, I don't think the whole length of this podcast can do that. So I'm just going to give tips. I think when it comes to any company comes initially to anybody, I think what you have to do first is to check, through tools, what is the website authority, what is the authority of their content online, if they have one. You see some of them want to get to 75 when you're using Ahrefs, for example. Some of them want to they are maybe 0.9, and you say you want to compete against a company that is maybe on 75, 90. That's like a long journey.
yeah,
So, and some of them even give you deadlines telling you, can we do this in 3 months? They're like, what are you saying? That's
yeah,
so unlike it. It's not that easy. So, but one of the first things after establishing the authority of their website, that's the first place to start, definitely. And definitely, if they happen to be a product-led, company, getting their top product or their most purchased product or the best-selling points, let me put it like that,
yeah,
having keywords around that, getting the pain points of their clients, their target audience, their customers, their potential people in that industry, then you create keywords around that. Of course, what I'm talking about might even take up to 2 months of conversation with the owner of the company. I mean, with the operations guys. You get to talk, you ask questions, you really get to understand what they're saying. And from there, you are going to, create topical clusters. Now, there are so many tools that have made this easy now, but at the same time, you must not get carried away by the tools. I must say that, because what we do majorly is you put your creativity and your expertise into the tools. I always like to tell people that tools are not substitutes. They are
yeah,
mainly tools. They are tools. They should be integrated with your mind, your brain to work. And that's why more like the way you use computer to write instead of a typewriter. That's the same thing tools do. You use this tool instead of this. So when you go on and create, your topical cluster, now it also has to take a lot of things like studying the website of the company. Some of them have websites that if you keep churning even good content might not rank. Maybe they have very poor designs. They don't have some features, some kind of schemas that supports the kind of content you want to publish. And if you are really into thought leadership, you will agree with me that it's very important that you have a lot of strategic content. I mean, things that have life statistics, that have things that can directly impact your audience. So depending on the kind of content, but if your company is just looking at maybe ranking very high on Google, you could do some mixture of SEO and thought leadership and maybe some guest posts to get your backlinks. Then over time, as you run this, of course, you check the tracking too. You follow up, track your metrics, track your authorities, track the traffic itself coming in. In fact, sometimes it might involve editing and modifying a particular article because it's bringing in more traffic to make it more interesting, to apply more SEO principles to make it better. So these things actually, help your total strategy to the point that it gets you, over time. I've seen people that achieve this in less than, let's say, 2 3 years, yes, and they're actually on first page of Google with the right strategy. So like I said, these are just tips. There's a lot
Yeah.
to say concerning strategy itself. Is a whole lot of things.
Yeah. You touched this topic about creativity. Yeah, of course, tools are still tools, just tools, And for example, I think it's better to use a few tools, not just
Yeah,
HRS or SEMrush, because
yeah,
yeah, they're great tools, but everyone uses them. That's why I usually search for tools that untaped, ignored by my
yeah,
competitors. Yeah, you can find some great insights, and even more, it's better to analyze some new keywords because 15% of new keywords appeal every single day. It's hard to
yeah,
compete with all keywords. And you mentioned about creativity. Yeah, it's very important. Yeah, ChatGPT is not creative, and rewriting is not creative, and it's important to be creative, And you remind me, Jeff Coyle. Uh,
okay,
he's even yeah, I can spoke about Jeff Coyle as well, but yeah, I wanna tell about Jim Edwards. He spoke on my podcast. He worked in
okay,
Business Insider 10 years, and
hmm,
uh, he worked 10 years and company was sold for $500 million. So
wow,
basically when he started on this company from scratch, then he wrote a book and started consultancy um, services. And what he told me, that success of Business Insider depends on creating non-boring content. And
mm,
it's very important, for example, you can create valuable content, but if it's boring, nobody will consume this content
nobody,
because,
yeah,
yeah, people bounce fast. We have this data. It doesn't matter what kind of content, YouTube, TikTok, everywhere. Like, for example, on YouTube, 80% of users, yeah, they bounce in the first 20 seconds. In website
yeah,
content, I think the data even worse, plus most people bounce for a few seconds, because it's boring. You need to catch their attention, to hook them,
hmm,
and even if you have valuable content, nobody cares, because
yeah,
especially if you are talking about long content. Can you tell how to be creative? Because you mentioned this word. I love this word, creative, but it's hard to be creative because you need to stand out from the rest to provide something new, unique. So tell your methods how to become creative, especially in SEO, because what I usually see when webmasters misunderstand user intent and
hmm,
to stand out from the rest, because user intent means you need to share that your competitors share, I mean, like in their style format, to reply to the same questions, but you need to stand out from the rest. If you create something that stand out from the rest, it doesn't mean that you can cover user intent. So can you tell how unite both and become creative?
yeah. So, like you mentioned, I will say that everything that drives the content that you write is basically your user intent, the pain point you're trying to address. Now, we must also establish the fact that every content is not for everyone online. As much as we have millions and billions of users online, you are not trying to reach everyone. So once you define that, I remember a particular time when Writing Simon was working with a particular firm that dealt with a lot of accounting. What we're trying to address at that point is we want people to get on our website and never leave. We don't want them to leave our client. We want them to just stay there and get everything they need. And this boils down to a lot of things. Some people say, oh, so the content has to be very short so that I can keep the attention. But that's not always true, actually. Some of the content that perform so well that we've written, I'm telling you, they are very long. But because we are targeting the right people that need those contents. And when it comes to creativity, one thing I do personally, let me just say myself, is if I have maybe 5 articles to deliver or 6 in a month, I might do maybe 50% myself, not using any AI. For me, that's a way of keeping my brain fresh to creativity, kind of putting in the work myself. Then the others, I might use AI maybe to meet up with some deadlines and all. But that's like one of the ways to keep yourself fresh. Because when it comes to creativity, the truth is, as much as people say, oh, ChatGPT can write a poem, ChatGPT can do this, can do that, ChatGPT does not actually understand your customer. You understand your customer. So, and through that, you can bring in your creativity. And sometimes it might even take you, okay, use ChatGPT after doing all the prompts, get a good article, but you still bring it up and edit according to your user intent. So where ChatGPT is maybe giving generic information, information that are not specific, you make it so instructional to your users such that they can derive valuable content from it. So I believe with some of these things, you can actually keep, your creativity in mind, and at the same time address the pain points of your users, because that's actually what matters. Yeah. And you must establish that you're not writing for everybody online. Once you can define your ICPs, these are the people, these are the professionals I'm dealing with, these are the profiles of the customers I'm trying to address, then you're good to go. Just channel your strategy to those set of people. And I tell you, top leadership articles, for example, don't really get a lot of readers online. Not so much. Why? Initially, because you find out that they are putting in a lot of data, a lot of content, a lot of valuable stuff. And you see, some people are not really interested in reading, according to Forbes 2020, 98% of this and this and that. Some people don't even like seeing so much of that in an article. So once you've established your users, and you can also perform an experiment like I do also. Check the particular article, that drives so much traffic or that your users really engaged the most. Then you can use that, learn insight from the articles, apply it to others, and you see that over time, you're actually, on top of the world.
Yeah, nice. We have the question why Google doesn't launch tools like Ahrefs, SEMrush. It's interesting. Google has a lot of tools, many great tools,
Yeah,
analytics,
actually.
search console,
Yeah.
page speed insights, and
Yeah.
it's like we can ask this question why WordPress don't create a lot of plugins like yours, many other plugins. Because all companies have their priorities. They and tools have their specialists who can find the gap that Google
Yeah.
has, because Google, I don't remember, net worth like $1 trillion, yeah, and Google has priorities and successful with that. If Google will create tools for all niches everywhere, Google can lose their priorities, and
Actually,
yeah,
true.
it's focus.
True.
Yeah, paying attention to
Yeah.
project. By the way, it's important for creating content as well, because it's like, for example, if you write about digital marketing, you can't write great content for other niches like finance, weight loss, because you can lose attention and
Yeah.
can be jack of all trades. So yeah. Okay, I wanna ask you about struggles. Can you list struggles? that you have in creating content? Because, for example, I love learning about great book authors because, yeah, I love reading books, and it's interesting that they are consistent of
Yeah.
writing something. They write every single day, then have no excuses why they can't do it today. It's like sportsmen, champions. They can forget about parties, about something, just because they know results depend on consistency. They need to train every single day. For example,
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk, he didn't take part in his brother wedding. No, so I think my brother can kill me for that, but Elon Musk can do it because he has priorities, and he can. So basically, I wanna ask about your struggles that you have by writing content and tips for my listeners how to overcome struggles and be consistent. I mean, like how to schedule time of writing content, how to have this discipline that you need to do it, and choose priorities, because priority is important in daily routine as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a very fantastic question. I think Anatoly, I'm sure you also have struggles.
Oh, a lot of it.
Every everyone has struggles actually, and
Yeah.
I would like to tune it to freelancers specifically. I mean, people doing remote work. These days where everyone wants to be in their house and do everything. I tell you, it's as difficult as anything also. And I think the first thing I like to say is know your productivity hours. I mean, the times you are most productive. For me, is in the morning. I mean,
Mhm.
when I wake up, as at 8 a.m., if I'm not on my seat, once I'm already maybe lounging around the house till around 9 a.m., and I definitely know that that day is gone because it means that I have to put in a lot of work in the afternoon. And what that leads to is I put in what I will have done for 2 hours in the morning, I can use up to 4 hours in the afternoon to achieve that same thing. And that's really something. So one of the things I do is actually know my productive hours. And that's different for everyone. Very different.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do it in the night. I mean, after my baby is asleep and my wife has gone to bed, then I come
Mhm.
back to my table. Of course, I can take a nap in the afternoon to come back to my table. Then the ideas just keep coming. Sometimes I take a walk also. As I work from home, I try to do most of the errands myself, just so that as I walk on the road and listen to music and visit the mall, fresh ideas come in. And I come back to my seat to continue working. Now, another struggle I also have is sometimes, we have the struggle of how am I going to put it now? Maybe connectivity. You're trying to download something so huge, I mean, for remote workers now, and probably you don't have access to the Starlink or Elon Musk yet. And you just have to, maybe change your location because you want very good network, you don't want to be interrupted, all those kind of things. So those are some of the struggles which I believe can be overcome. But I also believe your diet also has a lot to do. Your diet, what you feed on, take something very light in the morning so that you can feel so light. And even when you're hungry, don't eat so heavy to counter the hunger. Just take something light, then you keep going. Then I definitely know companies these days, they are flexible, especially when you're working remotely. The goal is to deliver at your deadline. The goal is not necessarily to be on your laptop every minute of the day. I think that stuff has really helped me. The goal is you have something to deliver tomorrow morning. Make sure it's delivered. So however you're going to do it, maybe 30 minutes now, 1 hour later, and 45 minutes later, just get it done. That's the main thing. And of course, companies on the other hand don't lose their time because with time trackers and productivity checks, they can get to know, okay, this is the time this person is working, and they can get right results. So I believe things around your diet, planning your time, and also let me add this, having a workspace, very important. Somewhere separate from, if you are someone like me, I love to work somewhere so big but alone. So, I mean, not so somewhere big and alone, such that I can leave my system. Just like I'm on this call now, I can just go to the,
Yeah.
to the couch at the back and come back to it. but still I have that consciousness of the fact that I'm within my workspace. So I really like it. I like it when the workspace is so big and I'm alone in it. So anytime you see me on this table in the morning, just know it's time to work. If you happen to be in
Yeah.
my house, you just know it's time to work. I won't come to this table when it's not time to work. So once I'm already used to it, and I believe they say 21 days you can learn an habit. So if you do it consistently, I believe it becomes an habit and you become so productive.
You know, I think we can record two more episodes about weight loss, about self improvement when I have this podcast format, to tell more about that because, yeah, it's like indirect factor. You know, if you eat healthy food, yeah, you can be more productive because if you eat
Yeah.
some shit, yeah, I don't know how you can be productive. Uh, and yeah, love it. Awesome. Yeah, great. And let's talk about mistakes. In my life, I made a lot of mistakes. I keep doing them, because I usually start from best practices. What if I don't know anything? I just Google best practices about something like this, and then I can learn. And it's interesting about creating this feeling like high expectations because when you start something new, you have it like high expectations that I can achieve a lot. And I remember when I started PR, I wrote a bunch of press releases. I don't
Mm.
remember exactly the number, but a lot. I pitched all of them and got zero, nothing.
Wow.
But yeah, but I learned the process, how it works. I learned. Then I um, hired people who can write great press releases. We hired people who can pitch them. And when you know the process, you can manage people who can create the right product. And
Sure.
we got mentions on CNN, Forbes, many other great websites because of having the right process. But you need to fail when you start something new. You need to fail. That's okay. Everyone fails. I remember Shaquille O'Neal. He is one of the best basketball
Mm.
players. Explain about that. He doesn't feel that failing is failing. It's like education. You can't get this education if you don't fail. And when he started something new, he always fails, but he can learn how it works, how to go ahead and to get results. I want to ask you about mistakes that
Mm.
writers, content creators can avoid today. I mean, like, because we have two mistakes, some mistakes that you can avoid by learning from others, and some mistakes that you can do because you can't avoid them, but you can learn from them to adapt and create something better. So list mistakes that we can avoid, that you usually see content creators still do, and your tips how to find another way.
Okay, that's very true. As you were recounting your experience about mistakes, I'm also laughing at some of the horrible mistakes I've made. You know, I think some of the few ones you can avoid, maybe for example, if you're writing for an English website, and imagine you're writing for maybe a US firm and you're using a British English,
Mhm.
that's horrible. Your client, the client is calling you back and saying, why are you using this? Why are you spelling this way? This is not recognized, you know. So that's like a mistake you can avoid definitely by studying your client, studying, of course. When we're talking about studying client from the content strategy, you already know where you're targeting. I mean the country now. So definitely you know that already. But you can make that mistake actually. In fact, people make such mistakes till date, where some even have gotten to a point, they don't even care. British or American English, just write and submit. Just write and submit.
Yeah.
But actually, but actually is a mistake. Another thing I've found out is, out of trying to make a content so um, human, out of trying to put, your human input into a content, sometimes you can overdo it such that you are losing touch with the main thing. Just let me give you an example. You're writing, let's say about what's it now? You're writing, okay, let's say about an accounting software, and you're trying to use maybe Avengers movie to explain the introduction. That's creativity. You're trying to say, oh, when Spider-Man does this, blah, blah, blah. Well, you can get so deep into that, and you don't know how to come back to your main point, and you just have to
Mhm.
wipe the whole thing off, and you're off the grid. and the other person is already interested in the Spider-Man movie rather than your content. That's a mistake. So I also believe one of the things you can also do, I remember one I particularly made, when I was writing for an accounting software, I think about Shopify, Shopify accounting. And this client actually uses, this particular thing, but they do less of drop shipping. So what I did, which is a big mistake, was to lift drop shipping as my first H2 for the client. And I was called back, like, what are you doing? Don't you know this is so wrong? We don't do it drop shipping. Even if you want to talk about Shopify drop shipping, make sure you can put it in the FAQs. It's not part of our core. You actually have to find time to really avoid such mistakes. And I think that's why we also have approval levels and different levels of management in a writing firm, where someone else checks you. You are more like someone else checks you. So when you submit, someone else checks and says, okay, you've made that mistake. And my boss, for example, Simon himself, till now, actually, Simon still goes through it got to a point, Simon says, oh, you're too good. Just keep writing. I don't need to check. But I still disturb him, say, Simon, can you just check this for me? Maybe I did well. Say, good. And sometimes you can get that good till you're writing bad, and you don't know. So definitely you need somebody, to still check and still put in maybe some finishing touches. And sometimes you can also do it this way. Just after your write-up, your proofreading and editing, you can check it the next day before you post it. Just read through again with a fresh mindset. And you spot those things that should not be, and you're good.
Nice. Valuable. I want to ask about your experience. For example, I usually get high results with clients who understand SEO. So if they understand, we can cooperate to achieve higher ranking positions, traffic, sales, because they understand why we need to create high quality content, what kind of content to create, why we need to think about human being more than search engines, how to increase website speed, how to use white hat link building, PR, many things. We can speak one language. But if they don't, I tell them, take my course, learn from Lily Ray, Jeff Coyle, Mike Phillips, Chelsea Alves, many great experts. Go to Google, YouTube, learn. You read books, choose your loving format, listen to audio podcast, learn, get the basic. When you understand the basic, you can hire great people, you can manage them, control, how to set up the right goals. And let's imagine it's your first day in writing. You didn't write any word in your life. Yeah, probably you did in your school, but forget about that. So you know how to write words, but you don't know how to structure them, to create great content. So what will you do today to learn more about writing for SEO, human being, for getting results in the end, if it's your first day?
Wow. that's a big question to me. Let me start this way. My journey into writing actually started from school, from college. My penultimate year, someone introduced me, and through LinkedIn, you're good, you write so well, you can make money with this. And that was how I started. So it has been more like a journey of being self-taught. And I tell you, there's rarely any client I've worked with that will not tell me, oh, you're good. Now, I know I'm good, but back to our question. Our question is, what will I do the first day? I think the first day, one thing I would do first is to grow my roots. For example, I don't take some jobs right now for some reasons. And I can tell you that, for example, I'm not so good with social media. I can't do what you're doing, Anatoly. I can't. I'm not good with it. I just know I'd rather get someone, or if our firm has such needs, I'd rather get someone to do it. I can reach out to people through, LinkedIn and all that, but I cannot actually do social media. So, for example, if I have known from the onset that, social media marketing is part of this thing, is part of the way how to get it, I actually have learned so much, about how to do these things. Of course, I know it's creativity. I know with time you get it and all. But there are some things also in social media marketing that are really valuable. For example, when it comes to thought leadership content, where you have to actually sometimes build authority on your profile to post things. Just like you are known, Anatoly is known, for podcasts. You see reviews. I checked your LinkedIn, you had close to 100 recommendations. I'm like, this guy is good, you know. So such things actually. So, but for me, you won't see that. You won't see so much of that. Why? Because I'm just so hard of it. So some of the things I'll actually do is to get the pillars of content marketing and grow my roots in each of them. Each of them. But presently, I tell you, I'm going to drive deep. If this is my first day, I'm going to, with this knowledge I have, I'm going to drive deep in social media, you know, email marketing, then other things. When it comes to really getting people, I leave that to other people. I do more of write the content that engages people, that keeps them on your site till it converts and scales your content, scales your fame. That's basically what I do. But you see, every other part of I'm really weak.
Mhm.
So I can manage it, like you said, can manage people that do such things, but I might not be able to really do it myself.
Yeah, yeah, nice, nice. By the way, you mentioned about me, guys. I'm not an expert. I'm student. I learn every single day. For me, when I speak with great experts, I understand that I'm far away, but I can learn, I can improve, and yeah. For example, Neil Patel uh,
Yeah,
told that he can learn a lot and to practice. It's important to practice even more. Maybe, I like to learn, but I like to practice more than to learn, because if you learn a lot more, you can get less time for practice. But
yeah,
Cristiano Ronaldo prefers to hit a ball 10,000 times a day than to read a few books how to play soccer.
yeah,
And
yeah,
at any niche, anything what you do, including SEO writing, you need to practice. And I remember Stephen King said about writing, two things you need to do, only two things. Of course you can do other things, but two the most important things: you need to read a lot and write a lot. So if you do it,
yes,
then you can improve your writing skills. And guys, practice more. I like how Bill Gates reads books. He told once about that. He usually makes notes. For example, he reads books and makes notes and think how he can implement it, how he can use it, because these successful guys are need practical tips. They need to
yeah,
implement than to overlearn about everything, because we have short memory. We can forget about
yeah.
anything for a few days. I can forget for a few hours. Tell me, I will forget.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. And I have the final question to you about
Okay.
the future. You know, I want to ask
Ah,
you, take your crystal ball and get predictions about the future, because my crystal ball doesn't work. I tried with crypto. I bought crypto because I got the prediction the crypto will go up, but it went down, and I got it now. I can't use this crystal ball, and yeah, I think future is unpredictable, but anyway we can adapt, we can learn,
yeah.
and go ahead. So tell your vision about the future and how we can adapt today to this possible future.
Okay. I think majorly for me, for me particularly, when it comes to the future, I'm someone that is very spiritual.
Mhm.
So I believe a lot about the future is spiritual. I mean, so spiritual. In fact, if you go to my LinkedIn page, you're going to see that the first description under my header is a spiritual description.
Mhm.
Because where I am today is not something I got to with my own ability or training or something. Is by grace. So but at the same time, I see myself, becoming an authority, especially in thought leadership articles. I see myself, I just came into the content managing space recently. My boss just pitched me on LinkedIn. Oh, you're good, you're good, you're good. Can you join my team? Blah blah. And that was it. But I just became a manager recently. But I know that with consistent effort, like you said, practice, and delivering quality. People actually don't forget when you deliver value. I mean, there are some contacts I have to date. Can you help me with this? I say, no, I'm working for someone else. You can give this person. They keep coming. They keep coming. In fact, when I do someone, they say, "You are so good. You are too good, good, good." I'm like, so I believe with that consistently, and updating myself in the industry because ChatGPT happened recently. Who knows what comes next year? Maybe creative thinking GPT
Yeah.
or something like that. So I believe with that, what we just have to do is really keep ourselves updated with the industry trend. And for me, probably I might have a startup, sometime soon, or maybe a partnership with some top guys in the industry. Because I know I still have the energy. I'm young, I have the time, but some of these guys don't really have the time. So maybe for me, that would be it.
Yeah, nice. Love it, love it. I couldn't agree more. I think, uh, the most winners are innovators, like, I don't know, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Sam Altman, who can create some, who can change the world. But uh, the second part, early adopters. For example, I can develop AI, but I can implement AI, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
It's hard to envy people like Elon Musk. He works hard, 16 hours a day.
I think
I
you
want
you
to.
really like Elon Musk.
Yeah, I respect him. I respect him. But I think he enjoys to do it. I enjoy
Yeah,
as well, but sometimes I wanna play basketball. Sometimes I wanna go to the beach. So yeah, and
yeah,
if you sacrifice all your life to work hard, I love working. By the way, I can tell that I hate it. Of course, I love it because if you're not passionate, it's better to skip it, to forget about that, to leave it,
yeah.
to find something else. Because I see when people suffer to do something, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
70% of people hate their jobs. Guys, find something else. It's
Mm-hmm.
not your direction. Because if you enjoy the process, you can be happy. But
Yeah,
yeah, for me, it's important to be healthy as well, as you mentioned. Yeah, to eat healthy food, to train time to time. I'm not great sportsman, but I do it because of hobby. Because I love it. It's important for healthy.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
big pleasure to get in my show, to learn from you. I love all your valuable insights. Welcome back anytime to share more value. Tell our
Uh,
audience the best way, how to keep learning from you, how to reach out to you, how to follow you.
Okay, so you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I think I'm very active on LinkedIn. That's like the only social media you find me. Like I said before, I'm not so great with social media.
Yeah.
So, but
Okay.
but you definitely find me on LinkedIn. Then on LinkedIn, my email is there definitely. So you see my email, my Instagram, and even my Facebook.
Yeah, got it. Okay, guys. You can find the link to LinkedIn account in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify. If it's hard for you to uh pronounce the name, I don't want to try one more time, but you can open the description li- uh, and yeah, to click this link you can find the LinkedIn account to learn more. You can see a lot of value. It's better to do it because I follow. I know because I need more value. I recommend to anyone to follow. And thanks a lot for listening and watching us.